Today I'm going to be sharing something super special with you guys. I haven't talked much about this before, but I actually ended up losing my period for over 7 years when I was going through my health issues. And during that time frame, I had just severe gut issues, eczema. I had the SIBO, the H. pylori, but my diet and everything I was going through, I ended up losing my period, actually going postmenopausal, and I'm 29 years old, so I went postmenopausal in my 20s. And after going to every doctor and them telling me birth control, I did my own research. I went back to school for holistic nutrition, became a GAPS practitioner, and I actually got my period back naturally within 2 months, doing natural herbs, changing my diet, training, all of that. So today I'm going to take you guys through, I want to share my journey of, from start to finish of my lifestyle, everything I went through growing up, what actually led to me losing my period. What I find a huge trigger is losing the period when it comes to my clients, as well as I was going to make this a 2-part series for you guys and make this part my entire journey of start to where I got now, how I lost my period, all of that, but do a follow-up for you guys on the full protocol that I did with my training, my supplements, essential oils, all of that to get my period back naturally. So if you guys would like me to do a second part follow-up with my full hormone healing protocol that I did, let me know in the comments below and get ready, because today I got a journey for us, and I'm nervous but excited to share this with you guys because I feel like it truly is going to help someone who has gone through something similar. And if you guys don't know me though, I am Elizabeth with ElizabethAylorFitness. I am a 4-year degree kinesiology, CSCS, holistic nutritionist, and a GAPS practitioner. And if you guys are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe below. I put up 2 new videos every single week, and I go live every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's go and let's dive right into it. So I'm gonna start off today by talking a little bit about my background. So growing up, I dealt a lot with OCD, depression, anxiety. At age 13, I was in school, and one day I bumped into this girl, and she actually had lice. And something just did this. I ended up going home that day, and my OCD triggered. I did not want to go back to school. I wouldn't wear those clothes. My mom washed the clothes in the washer. I told her I would not use the washer anymore. I started counting my steps, counting like cracks on the floor, all those typical OCDs. And I wouldn't go back to school, so I ended up going to a doctor. They put me on Zoloft, so an SSRI. They told me I didn't produce serotonin, so they put me on an antidepressant. They put me in therapy, and I started getting homeschooled. What they didn't tell me is that within that year of being on the medication, they put me on such a high dose, I was getting heart arrhythmias. I was so just depressed, and I felt like I was in a daze. I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was just numb from the medication, to where I would just want to come home and eat. So my mom, she just wanted me happy. So I told her, you know what, I want to go to Walmart. I would get sour cinnamon, what are they called? The sugar cinnamon pretzels, full pizzas, soda, sour spray candy, have all of that. And then within a few hours, I would be having more. And within that 1 year, I ate my feelings away. I gained over 50 pounds. I was having those heart arrhythmias, nausea from all the medicine. I was being homeschooled, and I was having a lot of gut issues, a lot of gas. I was doing dairy, whey protein, but I had a lot of gas, a lot of eczema. My whole face had rosacea eczema all over it, and I felt horrible. My confidence wasn't there, and I was just in a very low place. And this is where it all started, guys. I'm gonna get to the period journey, but I wanna take you through because I feel like it's very important to address where everything initially started. So that being said, 13, antidepressants, feeling like crap, gut issues, being homeschooled, all of that. I went through that for a good 2 years. And one day I decided, you know what, Elizabeth, your friends, they're vegetarian, they look good. Let's do this. So what I did was I got my mental aspect of my health back to a place that within a year I was able to go back to school. I went to a different school. I was still on the medication, still having the GI issues, still overweight, but I was getting back to school and feeling better. And I ended up, like I said, one of my friends, she was vegetarian, she was in great shape. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this vegetarian diet. Let's see if I can get healthy. So I started the vegetarian diet and I started losing the weight. I also started doing kickboxing. The first step of kickboxing, I didn't make it through the full class. I made it 5 minutes. I was so out of shape, I ran to the car and I was getting sick because I was so out of shape. I was overweight, wasn't working out, none of that. So I took off from the boxing, and what I was focused on for a while was just my diet. And in that year, I lost over 30 pounds on a vegetarian diet. I was feeling better, my brain was feeling better, I was feeling more confident, I was back in school. And that's when also I switched over medications because there was a lot of recalls on the one that I was taking. And there was a lot of things saying, oh, if you're on that medication, a lot of people are gaining weight and stuff. And my mom knew how much, since I wanted to go to a dietitian and all of that, she knew how much I wanted to lose the weight. So we switched over to a different medication that I soon enough started flushing down the toilet, not telling when I was vegetarian. So now I'm in high school. I'm on the vegetarian diet, so I cut out the whey. My stomach started feeling better. I had less gas, less bloating. My skin started clearing up, the eczema. I wasn't having to use the steroid creams anymore. But I still had that eating disorder kind of mindset. And I do want to say that when I was 13 is when I did initially get my period, and I had it very, very heavy. I always had a very heavy period. When I lost the weight, I was fine in the beginning. But as I hit my goal weight and I started the kickboxing again, I started doing it 5 times a week. And what happened was I slowly started losing my period. I started over-exercising. I started under-eating because when I went to the nutritionist, she didn't want to put me on a diet. She said, you are too young, so just start eating healthier options. So I was eating the Special K, 0-calorie water. Probably my calories went down into 500. And I would kind of starve myself throughout the week, do tons of kickboxing. After my kickboxing class, I would do, run for a good 30 minutes on the treadmill and then go get a smoothie afterwards that had a fat burner in it. And I was just so focused on weight loss because for once in my life, I'm like, I can control something. And people are saying I look good now. And I was dealing with a lot of self-confidence issues just because of being homeschooled and being overweight for a long time. So when I started getting these compliments of, oh, you look great, you're losing weight, all of this, I'm like, yes, that I didn't even care. I just kept wanting to lose weight, even though I started getting under my goal weight and started getting to an unhealthy weight. And I actually got down to around 90 pounds, and that's when I lost my period. And I was around 16 years old when I did lose my period, and then I lost it for over 7 years. And I want to take you guys through why all of that and how I got it back. But I just want to say, I lost it when I started restricting all my fats, restricting my calories, overtraining, under recovering, over exercising, as well as I started to even develop binge purge cycles where like I said, during the week, I would completely starve myself on around 500 calories a day, and then on the weekend over exercise. And then on the weekend, what I would do was I would just binge on around 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day, gain 5 pounds and feel like crap, and then start the whole cycle again. And I was happy I didn't have my period. I was like, yes, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with any of this. So I I didn't look at it, and I really didn't even tell my mom. I had pads under my stuff. I was just like, you know what? I don't have it. Yes, and all my girls feel me out there because, you know, guys have it so easy sometimes. But basically what happened was I kind of just disregarded it. And my weight got very low, and I got to the point where I started getting very dogmatic about my diet, and I ended up going from vegetarian to vegan to eventually raw vegan, then fruitarian. And if you guys heard of the fruitarian diet, you're basically I was consuming around 50 bananas a day, like maybe a quarter cup of nuts every other day, and no protein. So like no fat, no protein, maybe like 600 grams of carbs a day, straight sugar from dates, mangoes, bananas, and around a couple pounds of spinach a day raw, which is very, very high in oxalates, which is hard on your gut, guys. It really is. So my mindset was still stuck in the eating disorder. I got very dogmatic, and I went to that lifestyle. I actually started focusing more on my health when I went raw vegan. I wanted to, you know, I hit that place where I was like, I need to start focusing on healing my body. I do think I am too low in weight because, let's be honest, I just started no energy and just feeling like crap, and seeing all these strong girls on social media and all of that, and being like, I want to have a strong physique, I want to have muscle, I want to be strong, but having my mind, you need to do tons of cardio, and I didn't know where to go with it, let's just say. So I decided to do the raw vegan. I started increasing my calories. I studied everything. I got with all the top people, you know, Dr. Douglas Graham, Christina, the Fully Raw Christina. I got with all of them so that I'm like, I'm going to do this right. Within 1 year of doing it, I actually, I gained healthy weight back. I got my weight to a great place. I was eating over 3,000 calories a day. It felt good. But a year into that diet, that's when everything hit. And if you guys been following me for a while, you know that when I was in college and when I went raw vegan in college, I got into competitive marathon running when I was eating all this fruit. Still did not have my period, guys. Still very high stress lifestyle, but I started the marathon running, and I ended up just overnight, boom, just swelling up with my stomach, looking so pregnant. And if you guys haven't seen my 4-part series on my struggle with SIBO, H. pylori, candida, liver failure, all of that, I will put it below for you guys. Check that out after this. It is so informative. But basically, when I went fruitarian, I ended up developing 15 types of parasites, H. pylori. I ended up getting SIBO. I went to multiple healing centers. I've done juice fasting. I've done monofruit island. I've had over 100 colonics. My parents have put so much into my health and healing centers, and I went to institutes for 3 weeks because I was so sick, and everything that I did, all of the protocols from the doctors, I went to top GI doctors who said it's normal to hold on to 30 pounds of water in your stomach, and there's no such thing as parasites and all of that. So I was all swollen. I didn't know what was wrong with me until a few years in, when I found a chiropractic doctor who did the stool testing and found out that I had all these issues, and then the herbal protocols as well as the true antibiotics both didn't get rid of it. So I kept going through all the die-off when I was in college, and then everything kept coming back. And during all that time, guys, again, still no period, but I didn't care about it. When I was going through all of this, I just wanted my stomach better. I decided to get off of a plant-based diet and switch over to adding in slowly bone broth, switching over, adding in egg yolks, more plant-based protein, higher omega-3 rich to support my body, because I told myself, okay, I'm gonna try this vegan thing one more time, and if I still have these severe gut issues, maybe it's not the right for me. Stop being dogmatic, Elizabeth. So when that happened, I just decided to kind of add that in a little backstory right there is before I went back to eating cooked meat, I did do more of a keto, higher fat diet rich in superfoods that I talked about in my SIBO protocol. That again, I will put it in the 4-part series below for you guys. And I started feeling a lot better on that, getting the fats and the protein in my diet. And I started noticing like I maybe start ovulating again. I started feeling like a little crampy, but not getting my actual period. So like I said, yes, did a little bit of like the keto style, but still keeping it plant-based before I went back to more of adding those animal foods in. And like I said, switched up the training, got off the competitive marathon running, and started focusing more on the strength training, building my body and doing things to put my body in the right place to get out of constant stress and into a place where I can get my hormones functioning, my metabolism, and get my gut feeling better, because my gut just felt horrible and no doctor could fix me. I was doing Miralax, Ducalax, just everything, and I just was still so swollen. So where we were now, I now have been to every doctor, still have the GI issues, still have no period, and I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. So I started doing a lot of research, and I found out one of the top tests was a Dutch test. The Dutch test, I believe, is the best out there in terms of testing your hormones. It tests your cortisol levels, your estrogen, your progesterone, testosterone, if you're ovulating, all of that. So I decided to, I did a gut protocol, and I also did a new GI maps test to retest for all the parasites, the H. pylori, all of that. But I also did the Dutch test to see where all my hormones were. And what I found out was a little scary. I found out that basically in my 20s, I was postmenopausal. And I've never said this before. My estrogen and progesterone, boom. My, just everything was just down. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. My cortisol levels were just completely thrown off. I didn't even know how I was waking up in the morning, let alone running marathons prior to this and doing everything that I was currently doing, to be honest, guys. So they wanted to put me on birth control. I didn't want to do it, so I just started researching everything. Diets, supplements, taking everything from going to Hippocrates Institute, all the fasting that I did, all the, when I did my essential oils and all the protocols that I'm talking about, guys. Go watch the whole SIBO story, because I just don't want to go through all this again. There's 4 stories on it, but I want to get to the whole point with the hormones. So basically, I created my own protocol, and the protocol was a mix of completely changing my diet, getting off the plant-based, focusing on certain omega-3 rich, higher fat to support my hormones, completely changing my training, getting off the competitive marathon running, going more toward things that are going to be healing, more mindset. I was doing more meditation, focusing on more like Pilates, the strength training, but not, HIIT training and the running and just high intensity with super fast supersets. I wanted to get my heart rate down, give my body time to heal, and then start tracking my macros to make sure I was giving my body enough to build. Of my protocol that I created, it was a mix of supplements, it was a mix of training, it was a mix of my diet, it was a mix of essential oils and lifestyle practices. I got my period back naturally. After every doctor said, you need birth control. And this to me just kind of showed how much it was related to diet, stress, nutrients, and when I say stress, guys, even the vagus nerve. Emotional stress, physical stress, all of that affects your vagus nerve. It all affects your digestive system as well. So I ended up getting my period back. This was all before COVID, and I was doing good. I was bodybuilding. I spent a good 5 years, guys, on my bodybuilding journey. I bulked up to 180 pounds before going into a cut. So I healed my body. I was focusing on my metabolism. I was focusing on building my body, doing things to promote my health. But during that time frame, just again, not really worrying about things. My gut issues kind of started subsiding, but I was on a very kind of restrictive diet. I was just kind of doing the bodybuilder diet of your rice, chicken, and it was basically arugula and coconut oil because I was dealing with digestive issues. The low FODMAP diet wasn't really working for me, but I did a whole video on the low FODMAP diet, by the way, I'll put it below. But the low FODMAP diet wasn't really working for me, but those foods just didn't irritate me that much. So I just stuck to them, and I stuck to them for a while and probably got a lot of nutrient deficiencies because of it, because just things happen. So I went through my gut stuff. My gut started feeling better, but I wasn't optimal. When COVID hit, everything it hit again. Everyone went through stress. We all went through stress. And that to me, I was going through something personally that I don't want to put out there right now, but I was personally going through something, and what happened was all of my issues triggered back. I went from consistently having my period to losing it again. And not only did I lose it, I started getting pain. And I was getting so much pain during my time of the month, just all in my stomach. And also all of the digestive issues came back, severe water retention, gas, bloating. I never knew that I had the SIBO. I just thought, I had the parasites, the H. pylori, and I did everything. I thought I got rid of that. So all COVID for that whole year, I was dealing with severe gut issues. I lost my period again. I was going through something, like I said, something that I'm not going to mention right now that had my stress was very, very high. And I ended up going to a doctor, and they did, I went to my gynecologist. They did a full blood test to see if I had PCOS or endometriosis. And my blood test did not show any markers for it, but they did find through ultrasound cysts on my ovaries, and they thought that was really stress related because I had severe chronic stress mentally, all of that, guys, and I just wanted to get better. So that was one thing that was there. The second thing, I decided to do retesting of all my hormones, as well as I was decided to retest for the GI MEPS, but do a SIBO test. And I never did the SIBO test before. So this time I did the SIBO test, and I found out I was positive for SIBO, which I never knew before. No parasites, no H. pylori, so I did get rid of those, but I had the SIBO, which I never knew. So now I realized I had the SIBO. My stress was so high, I didn't have my period again. My foods were limited to 3 or 4 ingredients because everything else was causing an issue. And I didn't know what to do. And then I had the cysts on my ovaries. I felt the pain, and I'm like, Elizabeth, stop, just stop. Look what you're doing. You're running yourself down. You're getting your place into a bad. And I wasn't over exercising, none of that. I was just in a chronic state of stress, emotionally, physically. And I had these underlying issues that I needed to address. So what I did was I went through a whole SIBO protocol that I created myself. I didn't do the antibiotic route that time. And I did that, as well as I did a whole healing journey. And I will put below, guys, again, my 4-part journey on my battle with SIBO, how I healed it, as well as the protocol that I did to heal my leaky gut. It's a 4-part protocol, starting off with, diet, eliminating certain things, adding certain things in, but healing the gut. And I have a weird way of doing it with my clients, with myself, so that you get rid of things for good, because you have to set your microflora up internally so you don't have those issues. So I did the gut protocol. I was starting to feel better with that, and I really started working on stress, meditation, morning practices, morning routine, my vagus nerve, all of these lifestyle practices to get my stress in the right place. I got myself into a good place with what was going on with my life, and I just started saying, okay, Elizabeth, your health is in a bad place. You need to make changes now to get there. And I developed a protocol, and again, I ended up getting my period back, getting rid of the cysts, all naturally going back to what I did prior. And it just is so crazy to see how much stress affects your body, how much your vagus nerve does, the effect that your gut has on your brain when you're eating things and your stomach doesn't feel good and there's internal issues, it really does affect anxiety, depression, all of that. And when you don't feel good here and you don't feel good here, it's almost like you're in a daze and you don't know what to do. And a lot of clients come to me with these issues, and what I like to do is bridge the gaps and set everything up so you know what to do to get there. And I just want to say that when it comes down to it, if you're overdoing it in any aspect of life, even if you think you're managing stress good, it really does affect you in so many different ways, and your diet does too. And we need healthy omega-3s, and we need a good balance with our training. We need to focus on our overall health and stop focusing on, you know what, these low calories, fast weight loss, because it's not going to get you long term. And if you're looking at yourself now and you're like, I'm in my 40s or 50s even, and you're like, my body's not responding to the foods that I'm having anymore and my metabolism's not, it's because our hormones shift. And when your hormones shift and your estrogen and progesterone, all of those, and your body's insulin is sensitive, you have to change your diet and you have to change your training and your lifestyle and your sleep and your stress and everything to work with your body. And I customize and individualize everything to my clients because I believe nobody's body is the same, like at all. So today I just wanted to hop on and I wanted to share my story with you guys and share with you how much that it's not just about, like, I was told by the doctor, get on birth control and it's going to give you your period back. But it truly is doing certain changes with certain nutrients, with your diet, looking at your gut health, looking at your training, your stress, all of that. And working on each of those individually, because I'll tell you, you can be taking every supplement in the world. If your vagus nerve is stimulated, your fight or flight response, your training's overdoing it, you're not going to have your period. Like, you could be way overdoing it. I have clients, when I get all of this blend together, we can get our period back in a month. And then when stress hits, sometimes they lose it. But it truly, truly, truly does come to lifestyle and diet. I want to know if you guys would like me to do that second part for you, taking you guys through the complete protocol that I created for myself with the oils, with my diet, with my training, as well as going through the 5 key reasons why most people do lose their period and how to get it back with those. So let me know in the comments below, and I hope you guys found this helpful today. Seriously, this was, I know, a different type of video today, but I just work with so many people that we end up getting our period back, and I feel like there's so much misinformation out there. I am not a doctor, I'm a holistic nutritionist. I am sharing my journey with you guys. Never do nothing, take nothing without consulting a doctor, but I just want to share, what I did, the type of testing that I did, as well as if you guys want to know the protocol and the herbs and the certain reasons behind that, just let me know. So I hope you guys are having an incredible day. I will see you tomorrow, Monday, for our Monday Night Live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, I got a new workout coming on Wednesday. And then if enough of you guys let me know below about the protocol, I will be putting the protocol up for you next Sunday. So make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm there in my stories every single day. And again, I hope you guys found this helpful today. I love you. Bye.